Released in a time where such fanatics were not really explored, but still managed to create monumental masterpiece and write its name in the history books, Avatar: The Last Airbender is definitely a show worth watching. But like every show ever made, it's not without its own Easter eggs, change in events, and controversies. Hey guys, and welcome to Popcorn with Spice, the channel for more insight on movies and series. Today, we are going to talk about some of the best moments to happen behind the scenes in The Last Airbender set. So without further delay, let's get right into it. Behind the scenes moments. Number 1. The creators never wanted a live-action movie. If you've been following this channel, then you probably must have seen our previous video on this topic. If you haven't, I'll leave the link in the description below. Anyways, this is an important topic because it shows that even the creators never wanted a live-action movie. Creators Brian Konietzko and Michael Dante DiMartino never had warm feelings about the movie. And DiMartino goes further when asked about his feelings on the movie, and this is what he had to say. "We didn't want it to be done at all. Before anyone was attached, we didn't want it. And then, if it was going to be done, we wanted to do it, but they weren't going to let us." Apparently, the producers of the movie felt they had all the necessary experience to make a movie of this magnitude on their own. And well, we all know the results. Number 2. The creators initially didn't want Toph to be a female. Like it or not, a little bit of girl power is always a very nice touch to spice up a movie. And we got all of that with one of the most loved characters in Toph, a blind little 12-year-old girl who beats up guys twice her age. However, the initial plan was for the character to be a tough, blind teenage boy according to arts of the animated series. When head writer Aaron Ehasz suggested that Toph should be a girl, his idea was met with mixed reception from the creators. Brian Konietzko even explained that he fought against the idea for a very long time, but eventually came on board with it, and the result in the end was not disappointing. Both creators even came up with the idea for Team Avatar's first encounter with her, where she is seen beating up huge, buffed wrestlers in an earth-bending wrestling match. It's safe to assume the context of the series wouldn't be the same if Toph weren't a female. Number 3. Many concepts and designs had to be simplified. Before becoming what it is now, the creators had a far more grand design for the series. They, however, had to tune it all down because of the core strain it was putting on the budget for the series and the type of animation being used. Most notable is Appa, who was drastically simplified for necessity. Brian revealed in Art of the Animated Series that his first idea was for Aang to shepherd a herd of about 20 bisons. But his idea was cut short because it won't be easy to include that number of bisons in every episode. It was then decided that it would be a family comprising of a mother, father, and some calves. In the end, we only got to see Appa. There was also a change to his original design concept to a short-horned bison from being a bison with spiral horns. Number 4. The creators were rejected by every Japanese studio. In an attempt to pay homage to the culture and style the series was made in, the creators initially tried to work for a Japanese studio, but apparently no Japanese studio was interested in working with them. If a show is set in a Japanese surrounding and adapts the Japanese anime style, wouldn't it make much sense to work in a Japanese studio? Well, the important thing is they tried. And after a great number of unreturned phone calls, the creators decided to look elsewhere. And eventually, they got a collaboration with a Korean studio, as Michael DiMartino revealed in Arts of the Animated Series. Number 5. Eros. The kind-hearted, wholesome, and wise uncle known as Eros is just another example of a bad idea turned good. Before becoming the lovable character we now know of, Eros was originally meant to be a harsh and hardened military man, up until he was eventually recreated by his voice actor Mako and head writer Aaron. As Brian puts it, his original concept was more of a strict kind of kung fu sifu guy, which was supposedly a younger version of Eros. Now, how would you picture Eros if he were to be a mean guy? Do you think the original idea would have been better? Well, in my opinion, it's easier to love a nice, powerful hero than an angry, powerful hero, don't you think? Number 6. Eros' silence became a coincidental memorial for Mako. Probably the saddest moment of the series is the scene which commemorates the passing of voice actor Mako, where Eros is shown signing to his late son, Lu Tun. At the end of Season 2, Mako, who was originally Uncle Eros' voice actor, became very ill. The illness eventually took his life, and at the beginning of Season 3, an already written plot coincidentally shows Eros silent while in prison, as a means to give a moment of silence to the dead voice actor. Brian Konietzko explained that the scene was already written even before Mako's illness and was originally not attached to any such ideas. We can't say they predicted his death with that scene, but it was a nice gesture in the end, even though it wasn't intended. Number 7. Controversies in the Legend of Korra series. There are already a great deal of controversies surrounding the Legend of Korra series. From Nickelodeon's consistent backlash on the series to the controversial relationship between Korra and Asami, there is hardly any shortage of stories with this series. First was Nickelodeon condemning the use of a female lead character in Korra, stating that the idea was a big risk, but lead creators dismissed the thought and stood by their decision to use a female lead character. Another controversial moment was when Nickelodeon stopped airing the show without first warning the creators. And finally was the nature of Korra and Asami's relationship. However, creator Brian Konietzko was quick to defend their decision for that, stating that they made the right choice that felt right for the creators and characters. He also remarked that idea had been in existence before Korra and Asami ever met. So in my opinion, as long as the idea felt right to both the creator and characters, and it wasn't meant to be a means to push emotion of some sort, the creators have every right to include it and no one should judge them for it. And that's it for our behind-the-scenes moment in the Avatar series. Do you have more information for us or feel there's more that should have been added? Well, do share with us in the comment section below. Also, if you haven't already, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more insight on movies and series.